In Daysville, we'll be continuing our civilization restarting series. And with the completion of a new mission led by this purpley country. What? That's not purple, but that's more purple than that. That's more pinkish. But that's not purple. Oh my god. I mean, wait, that's green, but that's more green, if that makes sense. That's green, not green, but if you see, this is what I'd consider like green, the most green here, probably. But that also might be. Colors do irritate me sometimes when they're really similar, but you can tell a big difference. It's kind of like that sometimes, I guess. And while the mission heads into this region, starts discovering more, it gets down to here, and there's a coastal search done. With these missions also having some water area. And over the course of probably a few years, this country manages to capture this. And even figure out about those islands. And they quickly bring their country to occupy these lands, with most of the people who explored perishing south of there, so they realized it's probably not safe to go any further south. With the world finally discovering Madagascar, that's kind of sad though. I think it's in, with this country leading some missions around the waters. And their biggest mission by that purpley country is this, as they occupy and take over Madagascar. But they don't fully take it over. They set up a few, like, ports. And well, let's see what's happening in northern Russia areas. Well, the mission is done. And it's the summer, so it's the best time. Although they decide to pull these troops back, the people discovering it, like a few months before the winter. And then they move even further in. Now people are freezing to death because they're not in proper areas for this, but discovering it nonetheless. With the massive gains for the discovery of this, because many countries are trying to discover it first. And these two islands are finally discovered. And while the green country, having trouble getting across, as you can tell, breaks up with their area over here, deciding they want their own country. Okay, I picked a bad color for it. That's a good color. As they declare leave. And while the discovery into these lands is going pretty well, with the people up here discovering stuff, but with different nations, with this nation who's lost a big chunk of their territory, deciding to move into these lands. And while this nation also discovered land, it moves up towards these lands. That's a very Arctic nation. Probably like the Russia this timeline, with more lands being discovered. And well, the next season will start soon. Oh yeah, this is the last video of this season. Because everything gets discovered that isn't. And we start moving towards probably like the, would be equivalent to like, not age of like where they discover everything, because right now almost everything is discovered, like where they retake lands, and with nations not moving too far in just because of fair like dangerous conditions. Like the last of these islands have been, I guess, discovered. Now up here, some of the societies start discovering more and more lands up here, and well, it goes pretty well for them. As a decision of them capitulating, not capitulating, why am I saying? With all of Greenland being discovered, or guessed. There's no lakes and stuff there. I mean, they discover, I guess, so maybe some people move in far, and that's what they discover. And then they discover these lands. 90% of the people, or 95%, freeze to death in this. But this nation over here, which discovered that area, starts moving in. And the nation that discovered the other side starts moving in. I will still have the same colors once for the next season. With this empire having problems. Within the South, there's a different group of people that really want independence. They're about right here and about right here. This is what they have, and this is what they declare themselves as. And well, a nation just got away from them. And this nation that it created itself starts moving up further north. Slightly, just because they know they'll freeze to death because of what happened in the missions. That they sent 1,000 men and like 20 returned. And well, this is how the borders are being created. Not many collapses in this video. Not much expansionism. As well, I guess people are trying. Some nations that took new lands aren't looking to expand. Some nations that collapsed are in a spot to expand. And France already did quite a bit. Not France. The France of this timeline did quite a bit of expanding. And as you can see, it's probably the only nation that's actually forming. With the nations around Iceland getting in trouble as this area starts moving up into it. And over the course of a while, like maybe a year or two, well, this area completely falls over and they give it over. As a nation has just formed in Europe, a bigger one. As some of the nations of our timeline we can see forming now. But not the same nations. They look like nations of our timeline, but aren't. With this Polish area having some trouble, as the minority over here decides to join with it and form its full nation. You probably didn't know that. But this is all for today's video. Please like, subscribe, and comment. Wild Mapper out, but not until you subscribe. Bye, guys. See you in the next season. The world is all discovered, and now the only discovery is we're entering a period of expansionism and discovery of lands that nations haven't discovered yet, but the full world is discovered, just depending on who you are. And we will see the rise of nations, the rise of empires, the collapse of nations. Can they move into this new era, or will they fall? Well, you won't know until the next season, so stay in tune. Bye, guys! Wild Mapper out!